The Associated Press has some confirmation indicating that the NFL had seen the footage where Ray Rice knocked his then-fiancee out in the elevator before they did the 2-game suspension. Now, if you can remember, Roger Goodell made the argument that they hadn't seen the footage, which is why they were originally lenient with the punishment. However, the Associated Press has reported today that that was not the case, according to the unnamed sources that they've been working with. So I'm going to go ahead and read you from the reports and tell you exactly how this went down. The Associated Press reported Wednesday, today, that an unnamed law enforcement official claimed an NFL executive was sent the video of Ray Rice punching his then-fiancee back in April, 3 months before it was released to the public by TMZ. The report contradicts the claim that NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell that no one in the league had seen the tape before Monday. Now, that's a really interesting statement to make. Is there evidence to back it up? Well, the Associated Press says yes, absolutely. In fact, the person played the Associated Press a 12-second voicemail from an NFL office number on April 9th, confirming the video arrived. A female voice expresses thanks and says, quote, "You're right, it's terrible." And so the way the video was sent to them, or the footage was sent to them, was through a DVD. The person said he sent a DVD copy to the security camera video to an NFL office and included his contact information. He asked the AP not to release the name of the NFL executive for fear that the information would identify the law enforcement official as a source. So why did the law enforcement official do this? He wanted to send it to the NFL so they can handle the punishment before he had to deal with it, right? Which I think is interesting because he's kind of giving the NFL a heads up. And the way that they carried out the punishment apparently wasn't good enough for him or a lot of other people.
So now the defenders will say, well, it's a female voice. It's not like the tape was handed to Roger Goodell.
Right.
Maybe it got lost in the shuffle of the bureaucracy of the NFL, etc. Now, look, do I know for sure that Roger Goodell actually watched the tape before he gave the 2-week suspension, which was considered light by everybody? No, of course, it's not possible to know that, right? But is it an excuse to say it got lost in the shuffle? No, it's not an excuse, okay? Because if you really wanted to see that tape, it turns out, number one, you had it. The NFL had it in its possession. Number two, how hard could it have been to get it? Apparently, law enforcement was willing to send it to you unsolicited.
Yes.
So all you had to do was ask again in case it got lost in the internal mail of the NFL. So it's obvious under no circumstances that they want to see that video.
Yes, there are other things that are worth mentioning. So, for instance, they had argued that they approached law enforcement and they wanted to see the video, but they were unable to do so. That was a statement released by them, right? And then another element of this is they could have asked the casino for the surveillance, right? If they genuinely cared about the situation and they wanted to do a real investigation of what occurred that night, but they didn't do that. And so Roger Goodell's statement to that is, well, you know, we can't go to the hotel. We would much rather go to law enforcement because they're going to give it to us in the right context. I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically saying that the most credible source is law enforcement. But not only did law enforcement send it to you, you never really reached out to them, because had you reached out to them, they would have willingly given you the surveillance.
And TMZ also is a source at the hotel saying, we definitely would have given them the tape. They never asked.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So hear no evil, see no evil. There's no question that at a bare minimum, Roger Goodell and the NFL did not want to see the tape, didn't want to have the tape in his possession, didn't want anybody to see the tape. Because to them, what's more important is damage control, PR, how much money are we going to make? Now, look, none of that is surprising. We know they run a business, and all these corporations are, in the bottom line, amoral. Not immoral or evil. They just don't care. They don't. Right. But NFL gives out this image of like, we are, moral and upstanding, and we care about these issues on so many different levels. And my God, we're so moralistic that if you ever smoke a joint, we're going to suspend you for 4 weeks. You do it again, ultimately we might suspend you for the whole season. We are the most moral actors there are. And then they're like, oh, somebody knocking out their girlfriend, knocking them unconscious? Oh, no, I got no interest in that, man. Brush it under the rug. Yeah,
they don't want to be confronted with an inconvenient truth. And that inconvenient truth goes against their business model. It goes against their bottom line. That's the fact of the matter. Now, the NFL did respond to the latest AP report, and here's what they had to say. This is through a spokesperson. We have no knowledge of this, referring to the video being sent to them. We are not aware of anyone in our office who possessed or saw the video before it was made public on Monday. We will look into it.
Oh, great, yeah. And then they're going to find tape of someone getting the tape, and then they're not going to watch that tape either.